Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next lesson. We've got a lot to do, and I'm going to be honest, some of this is going to be a little bit daunting. A daunting task. Let me write that word down. A daunting task is a difficult one. This could be a bit daunting, mainly because of the phrasal verbs dealing with take. We're going to look at those later. There are a lot, and you're going to think, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And it is. We're also going to look at conditionals, zero and first. And while not generally considered the most difficult conditionals, they're not going to be completely easy or straightforward for some of you. So you're going to have to pay attention. Now, the first part is listening. And that's something that you all will do with the audio file 4.8 here. And you can just follow the instructions. It deals with risk taking. And I love this topic. As I think back on my own life, am I a risk taker or not? When I was younger, I definitely was, but I didn't know I was until I got older and I started to evaluate taking chances or making important decisions. And you know what's interesting? As I got older, I felt I became wiser, a little bit smarter, developed a better system to, study something before making a decision. And the consequence of this is that I don't make as many decisions or I don't take as many risks as I did when I was younger. And I'm wondering if that's actually not a very good thing at the end of the day. So I'm curious, what about you? Are you a risk taker? Were you a risk taker? Have you changed? I think I have changed, although I'm trying to break out a bit and take some more risks, calculated risks. Now, calculated risks are those that you sort of weigh, you think about, you understand the risk involved. Whereas if you just take blind risks, you haven't done any research. You have no idea the percentage or chances of success. This is, I think, not advisable, but doing a little bit of homework to assess the risk and the, probable outcomes, I think is wise. Had I done that with I had a business that was successful. Had I done that with that business, I probably wouldn't have got started. That's why I think about this and have mixed opinions, because I made a pretty bad business do well. And because of that, I was able to go to Oxford and Cambridge. And so I'm just wondering, had I been smarter, I might not have taken that chance. And I wouldn't be where I am today. So interesting how we think about the past and risk. Look at some of the risks we have here. Walking in the hills, well, depends which hills. If there are dangerous animals, it can be a risk. But I think in general, that's not very risky. Online dating, I think if you're, I don't want to stereotype, but if you're a woman, I think you have to be more careful. That can be risky. Telling a lie on your CV. Now, this is interesting. I just want to mention something because I know a lot of you are studying English with the express purpose. Express purpose is a great phrase. With the express purpose of finding a better job. Express means specific purpose, express purpose of finding a better job. Now, in the US, I never thought about fudging or lying. Fudging something. If you fudge a bit, it means you tell little lies. You sort of embellish the truth. Oh, these are big words. If you embellish the truth, you add to it. So instead of having $2 million in sales, you had 4. That's embellishing the truth. Some people would call it a lie. So telling a lie on the CV, I think in my field, it's difficult to lie. I'm in academics. They know if I've published or not. If I make something up, they can easily check and see if it's there or not. So I think it's really risky for me to lie. So I just don't. Yeah, it would be difficult, I think. Very risky. Yeah, you would, in academics, if you say you graduated somewhere and you didn't, it's an automatic dismissal. You would be fired instantly. So it's very risky in my in my field, but if in other fields, it might not be. If you're going to sell real estate and you lied about how much you sold in your previous job, if you're doing well in the job, I doubt they're going to can you. To can you means to fire you. But in the university, even if you were good, if you're doing a good job, if they found out you lied on your resume and it was serious, like you didn't go to that university and you said you did, they would probably fire you. All right. Smoking is risky for your health, isn't it? The cigarettes even say that. Nicotine is a health risk, or you can die from smoking. I think it's something like that. Vaping is now very popular. I wonder how many of you vape. I don't vape, but I have tried vape. I find it very hard on my lungs. We don't know the long-term consequences, do we? Long-term consequences is a nice phrase. We don't know the long-term consequences of vaping. I don't imagine they're very rosy. Rosy means happy or something positive at the end. I imagine they can be pretty serious, detrimental to your health. Detrimental, there were lots of new words here. Detrimental to your health is harmful to your health. All right. This is also great for discussions with speaking partners. Find someone and talk about these risks. Would you have cosmetic surgery? Would you smoke, or have you smoked? How risky are these things in your opinion? Because we all have different views. I know that in Europe, when I came to Europe, and I lived in Russia as well, telling lies on the CV was normal. Not for everyone, but it was just a standard practice that you would embellish the truth a bit. So we have different risks depending on the culture as well. Sometimes there are no consequences for some of these, or they're very small, so it's worth perhaps taking the risk. All right, lots of phrases and a great listening exercise. I love this topic, actually, and I've thought a lot about it, as you probably know by now, reflecting on my past. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is speaking. And you get to talk about these things. I would suggest you could even talk about 1A with a speaking partner. But now you have specific questions. Let me just go ahead and close that. You have these. Can you see my green? Maybe I need to change the color. Maybe I'll do red this time. Here we go. Look at this right here. These are great questions. So let's, have you ever, would you ever have a tattoo? Do you walk late at night by yourself? Interestingly, there are some places you can walk late at night and there will almost never be a problem. But in most big cities, it could be dangerous if you're alone. Yeah, different hairstyles. What do you think? How much of a risk taker are you with your appearance? And how much of a risk taker are you when you travel? These are two different scenarios. Would you go to places that are considered high risk, by your government? Each government has a travel warning for every country, or a travel advisory. In the US, it's 1 to 4. So 1 is safe, 2 is exercise caution, 3 is it's dangerous, be careful, and 4 is we advise you not to go there. So 4 levels of travel advising. Would you go to zone 4? We advise you not to travel there. Are you that much of a risk taker? I have a friend who is. He loved to go to places that were considered very dangerous, and he would go alone. I don't think that's wise, mainly because I don't know how I would explain, or someone explain to my parents or my mother. I'm very close to my parents. If something bad happened, that's a difficult decision to sort of explain to your parents. Why would you go there if it's so dangerous? So I probably wouldn't. With appearance, it's also difficult. As a professor, they sort of box you in, don't they? An old, boring professor, and that's who I have to be. Life isn't fair. All right. I'm very curious to hear about what you think about appearance and travel and money. How much of a risk taker are you? Now let's go to the grammar section. This is what I alluded to earlier, zero and first conditionals, future time clauses. Maybe we'll do a few of these together. You can see here 1 to 8 right here match with A to H. So let's go ahead and look at them. If my dad finds out I've been hitchhiking, now hitchhiking is when you're on the road and you put your thumb out. In the US, you put your thumb out and you're basically asking for a ride, a free ride. If my dad finds out I've been hitchhiking, what would he do? Let's take a look. What do you think? B for most dads. He'll be furious because he's nervous. I understand. Okay, you can, I think, do these. The answers are below. I've looked at them. If it's snowing, number 4, if it's still snowing tomorrow, G, we won't be driving anywhere. We'll stay at home. Now, let me explain the purpose of B and C, because some of you, I don't think, take this seriously, and I think you should. It's a really great critical thinking exercise or analysis. They ask you to look at the highlighted words. Look at B. Look at the highlighted verbs. Here are the verbs. And here are the verbs. And here's the question. In first conditional sentences and future time clauses, what forms or tenses can you use after if, when, etc., unless, and in the main clause? This is the main clause, A to H. What are the verb tenses you can use? So take a look, try to guess. So stop the video, try to guess, because now we're going to talk about it, but they're trying to ask you to see if you can actually see any patterns. Because if you can recognize patterns before they start teaching, you're ahead of the game. You're going to learn this knowledge faster. If you have no idea, it's going to be a longer or a steeper learning curve. You have a lot more to learn. And then C is the same question. Now look at the two conditional sentences below, 1 and 2 right here. Look at these two right here. Do the bold clauses refer to A, something which is possible, a possible consequence, or B, something that's always going to happen? And what they're doing there, do you know what they're doing? Let's ask the question. Why would they ask that question? What's the purpose behind asking that question? You can pause the recording and think about it. The purpose is to understand the difference between zero and first conditionals, because that's what we're looking at. And so they want you to try to understand that. Now, then they're going to talk about it. In this case, we are going to talk about it. So if you don't take out medical insurance, you run the risk. This means it's possible. This is a first conditional. And then the zero conditional is here. If you use online banking, it's essential to not share your password. You should never share your password with someone who calls you. This is very dangerous. And if you do, you can expect bad results. All right. So let's move down to the grammar bank, which is right here, and we're going to practice this together. I'm going to be your audio guide, not 4.9 and 10 and 11. I'm going to do those. So let's look at these. And then below are the grammar rules. So that's how it works. Examples followed by rules. You need to do some exercises every day if you want. Sorry, you need to do some exercises every day if you want to be fit. If people are wearing headphones in the street, they often don't notice other people. And finally, if you haven't been to New York, you haven't lived. Oh, okay. I guess I haven't lived much then. Now look at, these are, we use zero conditionals. These are zero conditionals to talk about something that's always true or always happens as a result. So we use present simple and present simple, but you can also use present continuous and present perfect. You can see here, present perfect here. That's still a zero conditional. Here is present continuous. it's a zero conditional. If they're wearing headphones, they won't notice people as easily. And then, of course, in the first example, you have present simple, present simple. If you need to, you need to if you want. So these are things that are generally always true. Now, first conditional is something that is probably true. You use it when it will probably, you see it probably happen in the future. So we have if plus present tense and a future tense in the other clause. So here we go. Here's the present tense, our, and here's the future tense, I'll. So let's try it. If the photos are good, I'll send them to you. So present tense followed by future. That's first conditional. We hope they're good, but there's no guarantee they are. So it's a first conditional, but it's probable we got a few good ones. If you're not going to Jason's party, I'm not going to go either. Going to is a form of future. Again, probability. If I haven't come back by 9, start dinner. This is an imperative. Do you see right here the word imperative? This is a command. Go, stop, study. Here we have start dinner. This is an imperative and a command. And then finally, we have the present perfect. I'm sorry, we have here, I'll have finished, the future perfect, and in a half hour, if you don't disturb me. So if you don't disturb me, I'll have finished in an hour. Interesting. It's not very common, this last one, but it's a present tense followed by a future perfect. All right, let's look at the final examples, which are right here. Future time clauses. These are all alluding to the future. And what's interesting is the time clauses are very much like first conditional, except instead of using if, we have all of these here. Do you see them here? As soon as, when, until, unless, before, after, in case. Now here's what I recommend. I recommend that you use each of these in example sentences about your own life. So let me give an example. As soon as I finish this lesson, I'm going to eat. We can use when. When I finish this lesson, I'll have dinner. So I want you to practice using these in your own examples in your own life. So let's go ahead and I'll read these here. Excuse me. I'll be ready as soon as I've had a cup of coffee. So I'm reading right here. Send me a message when your train's coming into the station. I'm not going to buy the new model until the price has gone down a bit. I'm not going to work overtime this weekend unless I get paid. And then finally, take your umbrella in case it's raining. So what I'd like you to do, as soon as, when, until, unless, in case, use these in your own examples. Maybe you want to do it after you do the exercise. So gain a bit of confidence in how you use it. Look at the exercises and then maybe change a little bit the sentence to something of your own. Now, here's, I think, a very interesting example that I want to share. I'll take an umbrella if it's raining. So that's an if clause, an if conditional, first conditional. I'll take an umbrella if it's raining. If it's raining, I'll take an umbrella. Look at the next one. I'll take an umbrella in case it rains. The first one says, I'll only take an umbrella if I see rain. The second example says, I'll take an umbrella because it might rain. Very interesting. And we have differences here in the meaning, big differences actually. All right, so you've got some exercises there. Then we have pronunciation. We're going to look at those, but that you're going to do that with the audio files. So you're going to go ahead and look at 412, 413, and we're going to go down to vocabulary, and this is where it gets a little interesting with take. Now, actually, you've got all of these here that you're going to do on your own. work out with a partner the meanings. So what you're going to do is they actually want you to just read them. My number one, my neighbor takes care of my son while I'm at work. If you have a speaking partner, you'll probably be able to work out the meaning either between both of you. You'll be able to work out a meaning. So I think it's really going to be helpful and interesting if you do it with someone else, but you can also do it on your own. Also, phrasal verbs with take. Try to understand what they mean. What I'm going to do is probably make things a little bit more complicated, because I'm going to look at a complete list, or nearly a complete list, with phrasal verbs with take. So here we go. I'm going to reshare the screen, and here we have it. And I'm going to go through these. And what I want you to do, first of all, don't panic. Here's what I want you to do. Make 2 lists, 3 lists. List number 1, I know it and I use it. List number 2, I know it, but I haven't used it, or I haven't used it much. List number 3, I've never used it and I didn't know it. Are you ready? So make a list. Now, what you want to do is in category 2, all those in category 2, you want to practice them until you feel confident to use them. So use these in examples. I give you examples below. And then the category number 3, maybe just take 1 or 2 from this category, the 2 you like the most, and learn them. So let's start. All right. So we have here, take after. He takes after. So it's to resemble, to look like, or maybe the character similar. She really takes after her mother with those bright eyes. Who do you take after? Your mother, your father, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your great-grandparents, maybe. To take apart, you take apart Legos. Now, I give you an example there you can look at, but you disassemble, you take it apart. To take away, you take something away from your children if it's dangerous for them. You take it back. If you take something back, you say, you're sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to say that. I take it back. Oftentimes you're sorry when you take it back. All right, take down. Look at this. We have a lot of we have a few takedowns actually. We take down notes here. And we take down an exhibition. It says to dismantle, to take apart. So if you have scaffolding near the building, if you take it apart, or if you take down your patio, you take it apart and you put it away. We've got a lot of ones. Take down a notch. I'll let you read about that. Take in is to understand. I took in the movie. It's to watch. I took in everything the professor said in this lesson. Have you taken in everything I've said? Now, take off has a few things. You can take off. The plane takes off. A business can take off very quickly, grows fastly. My business is taken off. But you can also take off from work. You're going to have a holiday. You can take off your shoes as well. You take on new responsibilities at your job. So I've taken on organizing the the company party. Now, take out has a few different meanings. 3, we have 3 here. You take out, it's to remove something. So I take money out of my wallet. If I want to take someone out, I invite them out because I like them. I'd like to take you out for dinner. And if you take out a patent, or this is illegal, you can take out a legal patent or something in a legal manner you can take out. And if you take it out on someone, if you took it out on someone, you're really frustrated. I'm sorry to take it out on you. I was very frustrated. The day was long and I didn't get much done. So you can take it out on people. That's not very nice. Take over, you might know. Take two. This is nice. I've really taken to golf. I've really taken to English. I hope you all have really taken to English. That means you've really developed a liking for it. Or you take up reading in English. That means it's a new hobby. By the way, yeah, taking it up. If you take up, so you become associated with, so she took up with If you take something up with someone, you discuss it. You can also be involved with someone, but take it up with them means talk to them about it. It also means get involved. And take upon yourself is to initiate it, just to say, okay, no one's doing it, I'll do it. I'll take it upon myself to do it, or it won't get done. And if you were mistaken, you were taken for someone else, someone came to you and said hello, and they thought you were their friend or someone else. You were taken for a friend. You can also be taken for a ride. If you're taken for a ride, you're cheated. I hope no one takes you for a ride. All right, we've got a lot to do, a lot in this, a lot in this homework. So I want to wish you well. Stay calm. Just keep learning a little bit every day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.